Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real United States. I'm your host Paul Campbell, and behind the camera as always is my camera operator and wife Beverly Campbell. Welcome to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We're here in front of the Soo Locks. The Soo Locks are a series of actually 4 parallel locks on the St. Mary's River, here on the American side of the St. Mary's River, and one smaller lock on the Canadian side that allows ships to travel from Lake Superior down through the St. Mary's Canal and the St. Mary's River to get into Lake Huron. And an enormous amount of commerce passes through here. Upwards of 10,000 ships a year pass through these locks. This is the only means of egress between Lake Superior and Lake Huron at all. And there's a drop between the two lakes of about 21 feet. The locks are mechanical boxes, essentially, that allow the ship to be closed inside and water either let in from the upstream side or let out to the downstream side to raise and lower the ship hydraulically. Now, these locks were first started to be built in about 1895. And over the years, additional locks were built. Another one was built in 1886. Another one was built in the mid-1940s. The one on the Canadian side was actually a recent addition in this century that was added inside of an older disabled lock. So this entire area is actually a 1.6 mile long canal, technically the St. Mary's River Canal. And across the canal, you can't really see it from here, but across the canal is our neighboring nation of Canada. So these large buildings you see behind me are actually the operating stations that control the valves that allow water to enter and exit the lock, and to operate the doors then to let the ships in and out as they pass through. So we have actually been through locks on board a boat before, nothing quite on this scale. These locks run from about 800 feet on some of them, upwards of over 1,200 feet on some of the other locks. And that accommodates these ships that come through, because we have ships that are up to 1,000 feet long, these lake freighters that do come through here. So we're going to try, hopefully, and get some footage a little closer up inside of the lock and show you one of the vessels in the lock or coming through the lock. We'll see what we can get for you. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show you, this is actually the downstream side of the lock. We're looking sort of northwest, or west-northwest as it were, up towards the locks and off towards Canada. And then Lake Superior would be up behind us. So stick with us, and we're going to show you some more here around the Soo Locks in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. So we'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Real United States, here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We hope you've enjoyed this short episode on the Soo Locks, and we hope that you'll pick subscribe and join us for future episodes if you haven't done so already. If you'd share this with your friends and family, that helps us out a lot. We really appreciate that. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. I try to get back to everybody as soon as I possibly can. And as always, thank you for watching.